Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into India's current strategic capabilities. We're taking hard data from the 2024 Global Firepower Index, combining it with deep-dive defense reports from our sources, and laying it all out as a clear geopolitical roadmap. If you've been wanting to understand exactly how the global military balance is shifting right now, you are in the exact right place.
Here is our strategic briefing dossier for today. 1. The global power hierarchy. 2. Strategic defense and deterrence. 3. Sea and air dominance. 4. BrahMos, the game changer. And 5. The defense export revolution.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the global power hierarchy.
To really understand where things are today, we kind of have to look at where they started. Our sources highlight a truly dramatic pivot here. Back in 1947, India had roughly 2 to 4 lakh soldiers, so about 2 to 400,000 troops, with severely limited funds and very basic weaponry. Fast forward to 2024, and wow, the scale is just staggering. The nation now boasts 1.45 million active personnel, all backed by a massive $75 billion defense budget. That is a complete, ground-up structural transformation from a fledgling force into a modern military giant.
And all that financial and structural investment, well, it translates directly into global standing. India is now sitting comfortably at number 4 on the 2024 Global Firepower Index, firmly positioned right behind the US, Russia, and China. What's really fascinating here is who they're actually ahead of: heavily militarized, highly advanced nations like South Korea, the UK, and Japan. Our sources point out that this ranking isn't just about having a lot of manpower anymore, it's heavily driven by a massive, deliberate push toward indigenous technology and self-reliance.
Moving right along to Section 2, strategic defense and deterrence.
I want you to think about this number for a second. 5,000. This represents the 5,000-plus kilometer range of the Agni-5 intercontinental ballistic missile. In the realm of geopolitics, a range like this literally changes the math for every other nation on the board. It gives you the capability to strike deep into intercontinental territory, acting as a massive psychological and strategic deterrent.
But the tech behind the Agni-5 and its counterpart, the Agni-Prime, isn't just about going the distance. They integrate MIRV technology, which means a single missile can carry several different warheads, each programmed to strike a completely different target simultaneously. Add to that a canister-based mobile launch system for super quick deployment, and speeds reaching a mind-bending 8.16 kilometers per second, that is Mach 24. Our sources note this acts as a profound strategic deterrent against any regional adversaries.
But hey, offense is only half the equation, right? Complementing this strike capability is the Russian-acquired S-400 system. Think of this as an invisible, multi-layered defensive shield. It can actually track and neutralize dozens of incoming aerial threats, stealth fighters, drones, cruise missiles at the exact same time. By using 4 different missile variants, it creates these protective layers starting from 40 kilometers all the way out to 400 kilometers away. It basically ensures that the airspace remains practically impenetrable.
All right, let's look at Section 3, Sea and Air Dominance.
Out on the water, naval dominance on this scale is anchored by literal floating cities. The INS Vikrant is a 45,000-ton indigenous aircraft carrier that holds over 30 aircraft. It's a mobile command center that projects power across entire oceans. But honestly, perhaps even more strategic are the Arihant-class nuclear submarines, including the INS Arigat. These 6,000-ton beasts offer the ultimate stealth. They can stay submerged for over 50 days without ever surfacing, all while carrying ballistic missiles with a 3,500-kilometer range. It's the ultimate silent threat, just lurking in the depths.
Up in the sky, the rules of surveillance have totally changed. The American-made MQ-9B Predator drone is a prime example of this. This hardware gives you 40 hours of continuous, completely silent surveillance. It can hover high above a target, totally undetected, gathering intel for almost 2 full days. And it's equipped with Hellfire missiles for immediate precision strikes if needed. It completely rewrites the rules of engagement by taking human risk out of the equation while maximizing tactical oversight.
Backing up those high-altitude assets is a seriously heavy-hitting tactical lineup. We're looking at French-made Rafale jets flying alongside indigenous Tejas fighters. Down on the ground, offensives rely on a massive fleet of 1,200 T-90 Bhishma tanks tearing across the terrain at 60 kilometers an hour. But you gotta hear about the Pinaka rocket system. This is entirely indigenous. It can fire off a barrage of 12 rockets in just 44 seconds. That is absolute devastation delivered in under a minute. Combined with the Apache helicopters, you've got a highly synchronized air and ground ballet of machinery.
Which brings us to Section 4,
BrahMos, the game changer.
The biggest tactical advantage here boils down to one single digit, 3, as in Mach 3. This means the BrahMos missile travels at 3 times the speed of sound. At that velocity, it is virtually undetectable and practically unstoppable by any standard enemy radar and defense systems. Literally, by the time it even registers on an enemy radar screen, it has already hit the target. So, let's look at what makes this hardware so unique. The BrahMos is a joint venture between India and Russia. The name itself actually blends the Brahmaputra and Moskov rivers. Its true advantage is its versatility. You can launch it from anywhere: land, sea, submarines, aircraft, you name it. While it currently has a 450-kilometer range, sources confirm it's undergoing aggressive upgrades to reach 600 to 800 kilometers. But more importantly, they are developing a hypersonic variant, which will push the speed so fast that intercepting it will become theoretically impossible.
Now, this technological leap hasn't just shifted India's military position, it has totally shifted its global economic position. Atul Dinkarani, the Director General of BrahMos Aerospace, points out they are targeting a massive $3 billion in future exports for this missile alone. It's transformed from just a tool of national defense into a highly lucrative global commodity.
Which naturally begs a critical question that we need to unpack. How exactly is all this advanced military hardware reshaping the broader economic reality of the entire nation?
Let's unpack that in Section 5, the Defense Export Revolution.
We are witnessing an absolutely staggering economic transition. Defense exports have rocketed from a relatively modest baseline of 1,000 crore rupees, shooting all the way up to a massive 21,000 crore rupees. This isn't just steady, gradual growth. This is an exponential explosion in international arms sales directly tied to the technologies we just went over. Prime Minister Modi's statements put that growth into a clear global perspective. India has officially transformed its identity on the world stage. It's no longer just one of the world's massive arms importers. It has completely flipped the script to become a key supplier, selling its indigenous weapons to over 85 nations globally.
And the BrahMos missile is really spearheading this push. It secured its first major international sale with the Philippines, which really broke the ice. Now, active negotiations are underway with over 12 different countries. What's super fascinating is the target demographic here. Prospective buyers include wealthy, strategically vital nations like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Indonesia. They're increasingly looking to India for reliable, top-tier defense technology.
But as we look to the future, it's not just about traditional missiles and tanks anymore. Finally, our sources point to some highly classified next-generation projects like KALI. That stands for Kiloampere Linear Injector. It's a directed energy system. So instead of using traditional explosives, it's designed to shoot high-energy beams to instantly neutralize and fry enemy electronics, drones, and incoming missiles. It is silent, it is invisible, and it represents the absolute cutting edge of modern warfare. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final crucial thought to chew on. As traditional hardware, the tanks, the jets, the explosives we've discussed today, slowly gives way to invisible energy beams and complex cyber warfare, how will these unseen weapons completely rewrite the global hierarchy we just explored? The map is being redrawn, but not with borders, with technology. Thanks so much for joining this deep dive, and keep questioning the data.